lockout year, there was actually rumblings that you might even consider playing a little football. Did you get the call from Bron saying, hey, I might want to do this?
I did not, but I know he got a contract from Jerry Jones that he framed and put in his office.
Was football ever even a thought for you during that year?
You know what, to be honest, PR, it actually was.
It's 2011 and there's no basketball being played. No workouts, no practices, no games. Nothing. Arenas and practice facilities left empty as players had no access to anything that had to do with their affiliation to the NBA. This wasn't such a bad thing. This meant the best basketball players on the planet can be seen at your local gym or high school working out, getting shots up, or if you're lucky, you'll see an intensely competitive pickup game with the best talent that the league has to offer. Kobe Bryant dropping 45 points in the game winner in the Drew League, or KD catching fire at the infamous Rucker Park, finishing the game with 66 points playing against a bunch of bums who just got off their 9 to 5. These boys were gonna ball despite the NBA locking them out. While NBA players were enjoying a little extra time away from the game of basketball, its owners were trying to come to an agreement on a new CBA, while the NBA's ultimate superstar had his eyes set on a different sport. 2011 might ring a bell because that same year, LeBron and the Heatles completely choked and sold in the NBA Finals, losing to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games. As he should, LeBron took all of the blame for his horrible performances throughout the series. If he had played anywhere near his normal averages, the Heat would have celebrated their first championship in their first season together. But instead, they had to live through an entire summer of pain and scrutiny from the media. And now that there was a lockout and the league was shut down, LeBron had to face the Heat for a couple extra months, without having the chance to get back on the court to let his game do the talking. After a historic meltdown on the biggest stage, you'd probably expect LeBron's following offseason to be all about basketball and getting better physically and mentally. And it was. Minus the basketball part. During the offseason, LeBron began to train to become a football player. He revealed that in October and November of 2011, when the NBA season is supposed to be kicking off, that he and his trainer began to clock his 40-yard dashes and added more to his bench presses. LeBron's past in high school football is well known. In just 2 full seasons played, he still ranks 7th in LeBron's past in high school football is well known. In just 2 full seasons played, he still ranks 7th in St. Vincent St. Mary's history with 27 career touchdowns and 3rd in career receptions with 99 while earning all-state honors in both seasons. He received D1 offers to play football from several programs like Ohio State and Notre Dame, with one NFL manager even saying that had he chose football, LeBron would have become one of the greatest tight ends of all time. But his love for basketball was a clear-cut number 1 in his life as he forfeited his senior year of football to fully focus on basketball. And I think he made the right decision. He's kinda nice. To this day, LeBron admits that he has dreams all the time about playing football, wondering what a career in the NFL may have looked like. But during the 2011 lockout, LeBron's dream almost came true. Why else would the greatest player in the NBA at the time begin training as if he was going to play in the NFL? It's because he nearly did. During the NBA shutdown, LeBron was offered a contract from Jerry Jones to play for the Dallas Cowboys and another from Pete Carroll to try out for the Seattle Seahawks, which explains why he began to train like a football player. The thoughts came into my mind. I had no idea how long the lockout was going to be. Myself and my trainer, we really started to actually train to be a football player when it came to October and November. Can you imagine? A 6'9" superhuman at wide receiver running full speed down the field with the leaping ability to catch the football where nobody else can even jump to? That would be nuts. LeBron nearly made the switch. His trainer at the time was from Dallas and he pushed the idea to LeBron about playing for America's team with the Cowboys. But the NBA lockout eventually ended in December and LeBron was back on the court to redeem himself from last season as he and the Heat beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals to capture his first championship. There goes the NFL dream. But what if LeBron decided to ditch the NBA to go play football? Similar to when Michael Jordan left the NBA to go play baseball. Let's be real, the media would have torched him. He first left his hometown Cavaliers to make the greatest team in NBA history at the time, to completely imploding that same season in the finals in what's seen as the biggest upset in NBA history, to then abandon basketball after 8 seasons of struggling to win a championship and go play in the NFL. Twitter would have had a field day with him. When Jordan left, he was already a 3-time champion with numerous When Jordan left the NBA for the first time, he was already a 3-time champion with numerous accolades. If LeBron left, he would have gone out with a respectable amount of career accomplishments, minus the most important trophy of them all. It would have been catastrophic for the NBA, but not for the NFL. A peak athleticism LeBron on the football field is mind-boggling to think about. He's had former coaches and teammates say that if he played, he could have been one of the greatest NFL players of all time. But now 38 years old and headed into his 21st NBA season, it's safe to say that seeing LeBron on an NFL field will never happen and will only remain a dream. But it begs the question, could LeBron have played in the NBA and the NFL simultaneously, like other multi-sport athletes have in the past? Deion Sanders is renowned for his amazing career in both the MLB and the NFL. In his NFL contract, there were terms that allowed him to miss NFL training camp and the first few games of the season only if he was playing in the MLB. The NFL and the MLB season started and ended nearly at the perfect time, which was a perfect storm for Deion Sanders to play both sports simultaneously. If a prime LeBron decided that he wanted to play in the NBA and the NFL at the same time, it just wouldn't work. Simple as that. Both teams overlap each other's season. He just wouldn't have the time or energy to practice and play two different sports. And the Heat definitely wouldn't even let it happen. You wouldn't allow the greatest player in the NBA who's on your team to waste energy and risk injury playing a completely different sport. There's no way it would ever happen, right? We've seen guys like J.R. Smith have a successful NBA career and then move on to golf, or current NBA player Ish Wainwright, who had the opportunity to try out for the Buffalo Bills but instead turned to the Phoenix Suns as a role player. And of course Allen Iverson, who had a historic football career in high school, leading his team to a state championship and a High School Player of the Year award, earning scholarships from schools all over the country. He instead committed to playing basketball, going on to become a top 30 player in NBA history. Not too bad for a player who was said to be better at football than he was at basketball, and he was pretty damn good at basketball. These successful two-sport athletes have nothing on Otto Graham and Bud Grant. You probably don't even know who these guys are, and neither did I until 10 minutes ago. Otto and Bud are the only players that have ever played in the NBA one season and the NFL the very next. We can look over the fact that they weren't extremely good at basketball because, we would have known their names. But they remain the only two to ever accomplish this feat. Otto played 1 year in the NBA, followed by an extremely successful 10-year NFL career, being regarded as a top 10 quarterback in NFL history. While Bud Grant played 2 NBA seasons, including a championship in his rookie year, followed by 2 seasons in the NFL, and then 18 seasons as the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, leading them to 4 Super Bowl appearances, and he's now regarded as a top 20 coach in the history of the NFL. Something like this happening today is borderline impossible. With the talent in both of these leagues right now, you have to fully commit to one sport or else you're probably not going to make it in either. The skill set that you need to play in the NFL is the polar opposite of what you need to play in the NBA. That's without mentioning the muscles you're using, the training you're doing, your diet, and a bunch of other stuff. Otto Graham and Bud Grant will likely remain the only athletes in history to play in the NBA 1 year and the NFL the next. But there's actually this guy named Mark Vital who did try to make the switch from the NBA to the NFL, but this is his football reference page, and well, it's empty, so we're not going to talk about him. In the 2011 extended offseason, LeBron had the near perfect opportunity to make his dreams come true and play in the NFL. But the NBA season kicked back up and any thought of LeBron James on the gridiron was left in the past. But for a moment in time, the NBA feared that they were losing the face of their league to a completely different sport.